What would your message be to Vice President Kamala Harris and to the White House? What do you have to say to them?
Where are you? Where are you? These people have lost their homes, they've lost their businesses, they've lost everything, and they need some support.
What's going on, guys? Fair warning, probably going to piss some of you off, but that's okay. I don't care. Last night, I had a family member reach out to me. Her husband was coming up to Eastern Tennessee with his church. They collected a bunch of supplies they left out of Bottom, Arkansas down there. And they had some car troubles. They were breaking down. They had to rent a truck, and it was going to be a long, long trip. They were trying to do it all in one day. They checked in with me if they could stay. And, of course, I said, yeah, absolutely, man. I start scrambling, putting out beds everywhere upstairs, moving my kids downstairs, washing a bunch of linen, get everything set up for these fellas. There's 4 of them, right? That's the good American way, good Christian values way, whether you want to say or not. That's what's happening with these victims over in North Carolina and East Tennessee. It's literally 2-3 hours from me. They're coming together. They're making a difference together. And it just struck my heart this morning, because I wish there was more I could be doing. So I got to house them, made them breakfast this morning. They're already on the road. They got 2 big, huge trailers full of supplies. They're making their run. I said, look, my house can be a pit stop. If you got more people making that route up from Arkansas, coming up this way, let me know. You guys tell them, pit stop. I'll take care of you. But I happened to just watch a video and listening to them talk to residents. FEMA and Kamala and Biden and all them are trying to act like, oh no, everything's good over there. It's not, man. It's not, guys. If you go look and listen to the people, American people that are struggling over there, they're going to tell you the stories. If FEMA ain't doing what it needs to do, Kamala's nowhere to be found. Like you just heard that man. Where are you? Where are you? The stories you're about to hear from some actual people, including a mayor and a veteran that retired from the National Guard here in a minute when you hear this stuff, I just want you to think about that. Let that sink deep in your heart. And you ask yourself, does Kamala and Joe Biden and the Democratic Party actually care about you as a citizen, or do they care about their power and their control and the direction that they want and what they want to do with you and us as Americans? I know some of you just flat out hate Trump, and I've said it 1,000 times. Sometimes you got to set your emotions aside for what's the better good of the direction of our country for you and I. But I'm going to say it, man. At this point in time, voting for Kamala is the most un-American thing that anyone could do. And that's my opinion. Take it for what it is. But listen to these stories and tell me it doesn't affect you or affect your heart or make you think.
To respond to the president saying every need has been met, everybody is happy, and are they happy with Joe and Kamala's response to the hurricane?
What do the states in the storm zone need, Mr. President?
Okay.
What do the states in the storm zone, what do they need after what you saw today?
Oh, in the storm zone?
Yes, sir.
I'm wondering what storm you're talking about. They're getting everything they need, and they're very happy across the board.
Let's stop right there for a second. You're going to tell me that Biden didn't even know what storm he was talking about, but Biden just got back from touring the storm, and he's like, oh, I didn't know what storm he was talking about. Oh, yeah, they're doing just fine. Look at that dismissiveness in that. Do you not see that?
I just heard what President Biden said, and I can tell you this. I'm not going to tell you in my own words. I'm going to let them tell you for themselves the response from the federal government. And here's some of those people right here. They came with us because they want the American people, Sean, to know the truth. I've got Newland Mayor here. It's Derek Roberts. I've got the coroner from Avery County who is with me, John Millen. Oh, I've got David Calder and Jimmy Sizemore. I want to start first right here with Derek, Mayor Roberts. I know you were with your daughter, you were with your children. What happened?
Yeah, it turned ugly quick. It went from some rain and some wind to a tree in our bedroom, and our basement was flooding, and my wife grabbing our daughter Tatum and our grandkids and Isaac, and they took off. I got on the phone with USA right away, right in the middle of it. It was just awful. It's shocking.
Let me ask you this before we go on to you, John.
Yeah.
Did you get in touch with FEMA right away? Was there any government officials that you've seen over these days since Hurricane Helene devastated your home? Has anybody been here to help you? It's a big question. Sean just played a clip of President Biden saying that you all are getting everything you need.
What is FEMA?
Right.
I mean, it's literally, what is FEMA? So my daughter, whose house got completely wiped out, she has no flood insurance, meets with a FEMA person, applies for everything doesn't get the $750 that Kamala says that she's supposed to get, gets approved for $300 for personal items. What is that going to do? That's literally what she got. Her entire first floor is wiped out. We hauled everything off. It's gone. So what is FEMA? And being a mayor,
So they didn't even give her the full $750.
they didn't even give her $750. Denied the $750.
They gave her $300.
They gave her $300. That wouldn't even cover what's in the refrigerator.
John, you're the coroner in Avery County. So you know, Sean, he would have the information on the people in his county that have either been missing or that have either been reported dead, unfortunately, due to Hurricane Helene. Can you talk a little bit about that first?
Yes, I can. Thanks for having us, Sarah. As of yesterday, we had reported 4 confirmed deaths. Not a hard figure on missing at this point. Avery County is a weekend tourist destination. We don't know who may have showed up and is unaccounted for that didn't tell anyone. There are areas we're still looking. We have urban search and rescue and cadaver dogs and teams from Pennsylvania, New York City Police and Fire. The outpouring of individual agencies and people just coming down and helping us has been wonderful. Citizens helping citizens, neighbors helping neighbors is how we've gotten by. The initial response was very slow, and I understand that. No one could prepare for this, but on the 4th day...
You're National Guard, retired
I'm
National
retired.
Guard, so you understand what response should be.
Right.
Was it what it should be?
Well, the motto of North Carolina National Guard is give us 24 hours, we'll give you an army. I retired from the Guard as an MP First Sergeant, did 4 disaster missions, retired police chief. It was very slow. I finally contacted State Senator Warren Daniel, who has been assisting our area. We're overlapping legislative districts to get help. He finally contacted the National Guard, but he asked me, what do you need? We originally had a handful of soldiers in Banner Elk, and I said, we need more than a handful. We need military police, doctors, nurses, medics, water purification technicians, general soldiers.
What about FEMA?
FEMA and engineers and heavy equipment. What we're doing in their stead, and some finally did roll in, but we're just getting volunteers coming in with equipment and helping people. So,
but what President Biden said, is that the case?
I'm certainly not going to call the President of the United States a liar, but I've seen no evidence that it's functioning the way he's given a glowing recommendation of.
I will.
Absolutely.
Sarah, I have a question.
Okay, Sean has a question. Sean?
So I
Yes.
just want to know, what is their message to Kamala Harris and Joe Biden? Because, you know, I'm hearing people that have had their lives uprooted. There was no help that we saw at all for a full week. What would they like what would they want to tell Kamala Harris, who now clearly wants to politicize this? What message do they have as she goes on, you know, call her daddy, call me daddy, call whatever daddy, Stern and The View and Colbert, and she's not in North Carolina? What's their message to her?
So frustrating. And I'll go to you, David, for this question from Sean. You know, what would your message be to Vice President Kamala Harris and to the White House? What do you have to say to them? I mean, she's spent time on, you know, these shows, podcasts. You haven't seen the response. I know I've been up to Chimney Rock. I've never seen such devastation in my life. It looks like a war zone. I know people lost their life up there as well. What would your message be to her in the White House? Sean would like to know.
Where are you? Where are you? These people have lost their homes, they've lost their businesses, they've lost everything, and they need some support. They need help. And $750 is not much help.
And some people didn't even get the $750. So there's a lot of people that couldn't even apply for it because, Sean, there's no connectivity up here. We can't get connectivity in the mountains. Unless there's Starlink, you have absolutely no connectivity, and people can't. Jimmy, what is your message to the White House? Sean would like to know. You lost your home, you lost everything, and the insurance may not cover it.
Yeah, I lost my home. My home was still standing. It was a little different than the rest of my neighborhood. Our neighborhood lost 4 homes, just washed away and wiped out. But my home was on an 80-foot cliff, and it was standing. And I have a photo of it standing the next day after the storm. But there were still winds coming through and everything. And later, that day. It
And I mean,
just
it-
fell
it-
off the cliff. And I contacted FEMA, and they were easy to get a hold of. They called me back, but while I was talking to FEMA, they told me they'd have to meet me at my property.
And a lot of them didn't even make their way up to the property.
No, they
even though
haven't
we
been
made
able
our
to
way
access
up.
the property, but while I was talking to them, I was driving down the road, and the FEMA person told me before I hung up, he said, well, we're categorizing this as a mudslide.
So,
but they haven't
Sean-
even been to my property yet, and they've already categorized it to where my insurance
Sean, this
won't
is
give me
important.
anything.
Sean, this is important. What's happened for a lot of people is that FEMA has been categorizing before they've even seen it as mudslides, so they're not covering. They're saying the Hurricane Helene victims. It's a tragedy all the way around, Sean. We're going to be out here all week. I can tell you this. The community is what's together on this, and community helping community and neighbor helping neighbor. And everyone is frustrated with the White House and with FEMA. And for the most part, they feel abandoned. Sean?
They were abandoned.
And I'm sure by now some of you guys have watched the 60 Minutes interview. You've seen all the botched videos of Kamala. You see this handling. You've seen the tweet that went out the same day, the one about helping North Carolina with the 150 million pledge, but then at the same time later that day she sends out the text about Lebanon and helping those people, and then we've done $355 million to them. Like, what about our people, man? What about our country? Like, what is going on here? You know, and it's like people say, oh, do they love the immigrants more than they do their own people? And yeah, because they're going to get the votes as their hopes, right? It's about power and control. They do not care about you, and then they've got you so emotionally upset, and Trump this and Trump that, and TDS is running rampant. Yeah, I get it, man. He's not the most likable character. But at this point in time, I'd rather see him for another 4 years than to see Kamala, because they are botching the crap out of what's happening. These people are left alone out there. They're not doing what they should be doing. There's so much more that could have been done, and you're getting to see what leadership they lack. That's what you're seeing right now. So think about that before you go and pull that trigger on that vote based on how much you hate Trump. Because I'm going to tell you, 2016 to 2020 minus the COVID was actually a pretty good period in time for our country. It really was, for you and I. You just got to let past that feeling of hatred towards Trump. That's what you got to do, but that's on you. Would you really want to sit through 4 years of Kamala? God, like I said, voting for her is the most un-American thing that a true patriot and a true lover of this country could do.